So, I just watched the Happytime Murders. So, The Happytime Murders is a film made by Brian Henson, the son of Jim Henson. Brian Henson previously directed The Muppets Treasure Island and The Muppets Christmas Carol, which are two of my favourite movies ever. They are, in my opinion, the best Muppet movies. So, when I saw that he was making The Happytime Murders, which was being advertised as just this raunchy R-rated comedy with puppets, I kind of thought it was weird. I was not looking forward to it, and I was honestly kind of mad that Brian Henson would do something like this that to me looked like he was just working to destroy his father's legacy in a way. But I was wrong about my opinions going in. It's not a very good movie, but I wasn't angry at it, and you can actually see that Brian Henson wanted to make something good here, and there is the potential of a good movie kind of lying under the surface of what is a mediocre one. So the big thing that there is to praise about this movie is the puppetry. It is as good as anything in any of the Muppets movies. Brian Henson knows what he's doing when it comes to this stuff, and he has clearly brought a lot of passion and knowledge to it, and in the end credits they show some of like the process of how they did it, and there's things like there's people in green screen suits, there's like hydraulics being used. It is actually interesting to see some of that stuff. And again, you can feel in all of these puppets the actual work that went into making them and the passion that they have in that. It is a passion project, and you can feel what they wanted to do with this, but it just never quite hits the mark of what they were hoping for, or at least what it feels like they were hoping for. So at its core, the story of this thing is like a detective movie with like a lot of murders going on, and the main character is the kind of hard-boiled detective type. You know, he's like chain smoking, he's drinking, he's like always looking kind of disheveled, and he's got like a tragic past, and that's fairly well done actually. The main character is the most interesting part of the movie, and honestly I would like to see him in a better movie. Where it falls apart for me is when they're trying to make it the raunchy comedy. Things that you see in the trailer, like the bit where he's having the sex scene and then it's silly string at the end, or there's bit where like they're milking a cow and it's meant to look like it's a happy ending. It just feels cheap when they're doing this. It feels like the joke is that the puppets are doing these things. You know, that the joke is, look, it's a puppet and it's doing naughty things. Isn't that funny? But that in and of itself isn't funny, because I think the way you need to view it in this kind of movie is that the puppets are just a performer like anyone else. They need to feel like they're part of the world, so it's not a joke when they are having sex. It just comes off as unappealing and cheap when they're doing it, as though it is the joke. And that is a disappointing thing, because there is potential here to do something interesting, something along the lines of, say, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which was a really innovative movie, played to the noir tropes well. And again, there are those tropes here that they play to almost. I already feel like I'm running out of things to say about this, and I haven't even said that much, other than it's just kind of mediocre and the jokes don't really work. In terms of the performances, they're fine. Your main human performance is Melissa McCarthy. She's not great in this. Like, I've seen her give some performances that I really like. I've seen her give some performances that I absolutely loathed. But here she's just somewhere in the middle, and it's just not very interesting. There's almost moments, like with everything else in this movie, there's moments where she almost makes it right, but then it just doesn't quite get there. Other than her, the other actors in this are kind of comedy actors, and it would maybe have worked better if they had done things a bit more straight. Honestly, I think the movie that I want to see from this is just a version of it where they just do it as a straight-up detective movie, where there aren't all the attempts at raunchy jokes, and the idea of the puppet swearing isn't played for comedy. Because, again, it's almost kind of effective in the moments where they're just doing the straight noir story, and you see the puppet, like, getting emotional over his meeting his ex-girlfriend again, or when he finds out that his brother's died, or anything like that. And so, yeah, it is just a disappointment. Actually, in some ways, it's not really a disappointment, because I went in with such low expectations. I was going in expecting to really dislike this and to genuinely hate it. So for me to actually come out and think, just sort of ambivalent towards it, is honestly kind of remarkable. It says that the movie did more right than I was expecting it to, and I think it has been a victim of some poor marketing. They didn't really know what to sell this movie on, and so they were trying to sell it on the shock factor. Like, there's one trailer they put out there that's it's just people's Twitter reactions to the first trailer, and that's rubbish. I really feel like they didn't know what to do with this movie. And this movie has been in development hell for about 10 years. They've been desperately trying to get this made, but it keeps falling through different studios, different actors get attached, and so when it finally came out, I imagine that a lot of people were very happy about this. Brian Henson probably particularly, because I think he has been attached more or less the whole time, and it does feel like a passion project. And so I guess at the end of the day, I admire aspects of this movie, but I don't like it. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you all for getting us to 100 subscribers. That is very cool. I didn't expect it to happen quite so soon, and it is very nice to have the custom URL. So please tell your friends about youtube.com/c/tobeconfirmedproductions, and here's to the next 100. I'm sorry, did that scare you? Was that scary? I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. Bye.